What happened to Steppenwolf?
The Steppenwolf saga began in Oshawa, Ontario in 1964 with a rock group called Jack London and the Sparrows. They moved to Toronto in order to advance in society, where they recorded the Canadian #1 single, If You Don't Want My Love. They hired drummer Jerry Edmonton and bassist Nick St. Nicholas in 1965, but by the end of the year, vocalist London had quit to start his own band. The band changed its lineup, bringing in keyboardist Goldie McJohn, lead guitarist Dennis Edmonton, and lead singer and guitarist John Kay. With a harsher, more blues-focused sound, the group's new incarnation adopted the name Sparrow. In 1966, they began touring regularly in America and were signed to Columbia Records, but their debut single, Tomorrow's Ship, was a flop and they were quickly dropped. Unfazed, Sparrow relocated their activities to California and, following a brief fruitless sojourn in Los Angeles, established themselves in San Francisco. They soon began performing on the ballroom circuit and sharing bills with bands like The Doors and the Steve Miller Band, but Dennis Edmonton eventually left the group in June 1967 and went on to find success as a songwriter and studio musician as Mars Bonfire. Sparrow's lead guitarist was replaced by Michael Monarch, but it wasn't long before the band decided to break up. However, destiny intervened when Gabriel Meckler, a producer and A&R manager for Dunhill Records, moved in next door to the flat Kay and his wife were renting. Meckler demanded that Kay reassemble the band after playing him several Sparrow cassettes since he was interested in hearing some of Kay's compositions. Rushton Moreve joined the band to play bass, and Jerry Edmonton, Goldie McJohn, and Michael Monarch were eager to give it another shot. Meckler arranged for the band to sign with Dunhill after they recorded some demos. Their first sessions at United Western Studio were unsuccessful, but they moved on to American Recording Studio, where they worked with engineers Bill Cooper and Richie Podolor, who helped them in the right direction. There, they quickly finished their debut album, Steppenwolf, which was released in January 1968, and it featured the Mars Bonfire penned song Born to Be Wild, which went on to become a huge smash single and popularized the term heavy metal thunder in the music industry. The album did almost as well, peaking at number 6, while the single reached its highest position on the American charts at number 2. Steppenwolf embarked on a lengthy tour of live performances while dominating the radio and sales charts. The inclusion of Born to Be Wild and The Pusher on the soundtrack of the countercultural blockbuster Easy Rider added fuel to the fire. Steppenwolf II, the band's follow-up album, was released in October 1968 in an effort to keep the momentum going. It included another hit single, Magic Carpet Ride, which peaked at number 3. Steppenwolf II still achieved gold status despite the hurried writing and recording of the album, but the difficulties of touring caused Rushton Moreve to leave the band. Sparrow bassist Nick St. Nicholas eagerly reconnected with his old friends. Moreve passed away in 1981 as a result of a car accident. At Your Birthday Party, their third studio album, was released in March 1969. It featured the top 10 single, Rock Me. 4 months after that, Dunhill released Early Steppenwolf, an album pulled from a club performance in May 1967 in San Francisco while the group was still known as Sparrow. The album's standout track was a 21-minute rendition of The Pusher. Steppenwolf was working on their second studio album as the record was being distributed. By this time, Michael Monarch left because of artistic disagreements. On the November 1969 release Monster, which found Steppenwolf examining political themes as America's mood grew more divisive. Larry Byram made his lead guitar debut. The album was given gold certification. An edited version of the title track, which is over 9 minutes long of the LP, and Move Over both reached the lower echelons of the top 40. The more contemporary Steppenwolf Live, Steppenwolf's second live album, was released in April 1970. 2 studio tracks were added as a bonus. It was recorded during concerts at the Santa Monica Civic Center. One of the concert cuts, Hey Lottie Mama, was pulled and reached number 35 as a single. Nick St. Nicholas was sacked due to unpredictable conduct not long after the live LP hit the shelves. George Biondo was brought in to fill on bass. By the time Steppenwolf 7 was released in November 1970, ABC Records had acquired Dunhill, and the album was jointly distributed by ABC and Dunhill. It was also the first Steppenwolf album on which Richard Padoler, who had previously assisted in engineering all of their studio work, was given the producer credit rather than Gabriel Meckler. The album was certified gold and peaked at number 19 on the albums chart, but none of its singles made it into the top 40, and Larry Byram departed the group. Former Blues Image guitarist Kent Henry joined Steppenwolf as lead guitarist and played on the album for Ladies Only, which was released in November 1971. Steppenwolf disbanded during a performance in Los Angeles in February 1972 due to the album's economic failure, which peaked at number 54. Before releasing a farewell album of obscure deep cuts, 1967 to 1972 Rest in Peace in February 1972, ABC/Dunhill had already released a best of compilation, Gold, Their Greatest Hits, in March 1971. John Kay released 2 solo albums, Forgotten Songs and Unsung Heroes in 1972 and My Sporting Life in 1973, while Goldie McJohn and Jerry Edmonton formed the short-lived band Man Beast, with Rod Prince and Roy Cox of the Bubble Puppy. The group reformed in 1974 with a lineup consisting of John Kay, Jerry Edmonton, Goldie McJohn, George Biondo, and guitarist Bobby Cochran after their post-Steppenwolf endeavors were unsuccessful. The 1974 release of Slow Flux by the MUMS label, distributed by CBS, was the first record by the new iteration of Steppenwolf. The band undertook a lot of support tours, and in February 1975, after growing frustrated with McJohn's performance, Kay fired him. In time to record 1975's Hour of the Wolf, which was released by another CBS spin-off Epic, Andy Chapin joined Steppenwolf as their keyboardist. Hour of the Wolf rose no higher than number 155, whereas Slow Flux peaked at number 47 on the album chart, and the song Straight Shootin' Woman soared in the top 30. Kay once more disbanded Steppenwolf after recording the 1976 album Skullduggery for contractual reasons. Reborn to Be Wild, a compilation drawn from the 3 reunion albums, was issued by Epic in 1977. Kay initially granted them permission to use the name The New Steppenwolf. However, he later withdrew his endorsement and the act fizzled out in 1980. Following their second breakup, Goldie McJohn and Nick St. Nicholas formed a band they called The New Steppenwolf and toured the oldies circuit. Kay formed a group he called John Kay and Steppenwolf when the New Steppenwolf disbanded. He was the only original member left in the group, with the other members being guitarist Michael Palmer, bassist Curtis Teal, keyboardist Danny Ironstone, and drummer Steve Palmer. By the time Chad Peary and Brett Tuggle recorded 1981's Live in London, which was first exclusively released in Australia, Teal and Ironstone had been replaced by Peary and Tuggle. With Michael Wilk on keyboards, the group recorded the 1982 album Wolf Tracks, which was released by the audiophile labels Attic Records in Canada and Nautilus in the United States. Wolf Tracks was released live in the studio to digital tape. Attic's second album, Paradox, was released in 1984. Next, Kay disbanded this version of the band in favor of a brand new lineup that included Ron Hurst on drums, Michael Wilk on bass and keyboards, and Rocket Richard on guitar. This iteration of John Kane's Steppenwolf released 2 albums, Rock and Roll Rebels in 1987 and Rise and Shine in 1990, in addition to performing frequently on the road. Jerry Edmonton, the original drummer, was killed in a car accident in Santa Ynez, California in 1993. Kay kept Steppenwolf on the road despite frequent lineup changes until October 2007 when he organized a farewell concert in Aberdeen, Maryland. Once more changing his mind, Kay resurrected the band and embarked on a tour in June 2009. Goldie McJohn, the original keyboardist, passed away in August 2017 after suffering a heart attack at his Nashville, Tennessee home. With the final show of their tour in October 2018, the Steppenwolf train came to an end. 13 months later, Kay posted on the band's website that they were disbanding for the final time. And that's what happened to Steppenwolf. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know, give me some facts of Steppenwolf that I failed to mention in the video, and let me know, who do you want me to see do next on this channel. Thank you again for watching, I'll see you in the next video.